The first thing that I think that it's important, and I don't know if other coaches talk to you about it, but kind of sharing some insight is that I think one of the things that a lot of coaches don't do, and one thing that you need to really think about, my coach in college, his name was Myron Roderick, said something to me, 40 years ago when I went to Oklahoma State, and it stuck all that time, is that you have to develop a philosophy about your wrestling. As you come here to watch wrestling, you will see a lot of wrestling, right? You'll see a lot of different moves. But the problem is that for me, and I'm just trying to help you here, is that you as coaches, as individuals, you start picking moves out, right? I mean, there's just an unbelievable amount of moves, and a lot of times it doesn't fit into your philosophy, right? There's lots of variation. It doesn't mean that all the variation is important or has the same importance. So it becomes important for you to try and design, okay? You design by your action to decide what your philosophy is going to be and then build on that philosophy. When you go to a camp or clinic, take what fits into your philosophy and leave the rest. I see so many times that people do things, and because they're successful with them, everybody wants to emulate them. And sometimes they're not maybe the best technical things that are out there that are available. Maybe that the individual that does them can do them because of his body style, because of his speed, his quickness, his strength. So there's a difference between what I call moves and philosophy. And what Roderick did for me is it made me think everything what I do is I do it for a reason. It's like a building block. It's like a fundamental. Fundamentals don't change. Moves change. They go in and they go out. Fundamentals do not change. The same way you built a pyramid 5,000 years ago, you would build that the same exact way today using the same fundamentals. The problem with looking at different moves that different people have, they have different skill sets. They have the ability to do different things. Okay? So how does it all fit together is what becomes very important. So I challenge you to think about what you're teaching and why you're teaching it. You know, as an example, some people will say, you know, if you stand on your feet, most coaches talk about you have to have what? Penetration? Is that yes or no? Yes. So in order to have penetration, most of you, it's a little off the subject, but it'll give you an idea, all right, is that you lead one leg. And you lead one leg so you can do what? So you can drive, right? Because you got to make up the what? The distance between the two. But if you ever ask, why do you have the distance between the two? Okay? The reason you have the distance between the two is distance allows you to help with your defense. Okay? But if you do some things different, then you don't have to have this. Is that most of your guys, when they step, see, and you see very elite athletes, they lead a leg, and they can make up that distance, but real quick here. But how many times you see here a kid drives in, and he drives to his knee right here, and he gets caught right here, and the guy does what? Any of your guys turn on the guy quick? That ever happen? Yes or no? They can't get up because they can't get this trail leg up fast enough. It's not getting in that's important. What's getting in is to be able to finish. And the reason they can't finish, okay, you're looking at this logical step, is because they can't get this leg up. And they can't get this leg up because it's back and they're slow and they're average. See? And in order to finish, this leg has to be up. Now, if this leg's up, now I can drive across him. But I can't drive across him here. See? So as I drive him in, I'm going to actually drive him in. This guy wants to do what? He wants to sprawl, right? And right here, the only way I can drive him is where? Right into his what? Right into his sprawl. So all I'm going to do is help him, as opposed to, if this leg's up and he starts to sprawl, I can drive across it. See? So things make a difference. So as an example, I don't stand with a lead leg, or just a tiny, is that my first step is this way. My step is here, okay? Because I want to be able to finish. So philosophically, all right, I don't want distance. The closer I am to him, the better I am. See? Is this bad technique or good? Right here. Put your legs back. Ever see any heavyweights like this? Huh? Bad or good? Okay, now watch good. Bad or good? Good. Drive, knees down. I can get my knee down because I'm what? I'm close. All right? So, and the reason I'm close is I want to get a hold of him. right? See? I don't ever grab him. A lot of times you guys grab his head. Why do you grab a guy's head? You ever thought about that? I ask kids all the time, why do you grab his head? His head is not the one that stops you. What's the thing that's stopping you to get into his legs? His arms. But everybody grabs his head, and they grab his head. Why? Because it's safe. If I hold on to his head, he can't shoot on me, but I can't what? Can't shoot on him. So why would I ever want to be there? So these are philosophical things. Is why do you do what you do, see? And I say those things because I want to challenge you to think about building a philosophy around everything you do so it all fits together. Like at Oklahoma State, our philosophy was back then, if you can take anybody down and get away from them, you can beat anybody in the country. You don't need to ride them and you don't need to pin. And so for 5 years, we worked on no pins at all, ever. And I mean, I pinned a lot of people in high school, but not one day at Oklahoma State. We didn't work on leg riding. We didn't work on rolls. We didn't work on anything except stand-ups and takedowns. Very simple philosophy. And if it didn't fit into the philosophy, we didn't do it. Never pull a man on top of you. Okay? These are philosophical things. The reason you don't pull a guy on you, because you're sitting on your butt. If you're sitting on your butt, you got no what? Someone talked about it last night. Pat Smith did. You got no what? What was the word? It starts with M. Motion. If you're sitting on your butt, you got no motion. If you can't move, you can't wrestle. So as far as pulling a guy back, you'd never pull him back. So whatever move someone shows, even though somebody's good with it, we would we would never pull a guy back on us. So, all right? So think about your philosophy, how it all fits together, how wrestling on your feet goes with what's down on the mat. And to bring this all together is, what are you trying to do when you're on the mat, on riding? See? How does it fit into your philosophy? Most kids don't ride. Why? Most college kids or most other kids, why don't they ride? Most kids take a guy down and what do? Why? You ever ask yourself why? Because it's hard. It's hard to ride. Okay? It's very hard to ride. It takes energy to ride. Okay? Now, if you want to break a person, where is the one place that if you're in a wrestling match, you don't want to be? Underneath. Nobody wants to be underneath. See? It's their worst position. So they do what most people do is they just never work on it. They go in, your kids will go in and wrestle on their feet. They don't want to wrestle on the mat. It's too hard. See? So as you develop your philosophy, so our philosophy, my philosophy is, if you make wrestling and you break it down to one word, what it's about doing, making the other guy what? You ever thought about it? Make him what? Okay? Make him quit. Okay? And how do you make anybody quit in anything in the world? Get him what? Get him tired. Okay? That is the factor. See? Now this is the philosophy. If I can get him tired, all right, I can break him. And this isn't true, guys, about wrestling. This is true about life. See? The average person will go to work from 8 to 4:30, then at 4:30 they're what? So they go home. They're tired. See? I'm tired, I'm going home, instead of staying. See? So the philosophy comes all together. So what I'm going to do when I'm on top is I'm going to try and take as much energy out of this guy as possible. I'm not letting him go. I won't let him go in any position. But it also takes a mentality, right, when you're on top. It's a different mentality. I'm not riding to ride. I'm riding to pin. I'm riding to get him on his back. I'm riding to get him tired. I'm riding to draw as much energy as I can out of him. He's only got so much energy. And the more energy I can drain from him on top, when he's in a negative position, the better to my advantage. So philosophically, I'm in a better position, right? The other thing is, if you're a great rider, right? If you're a great rider and you as a coach, you coach your kids, what are you afraid of in the first period? You're afraid if your kid gets what? Taken down. So now you're even more what on your feet? You're more cautious. See? You don't do the same thing. So by riding and getting a reputation as a rider, right, it extends beyond. See? Now the match is tied. Last period, where's the guy going to go? Is he going to go down? No. He won't go down. Okay? So there's a lot of things that you can do with riding if you understand what it's all about. Most guys don't. The other thing is, right, I think that the toughness, you take some of the toughest guys in the sport, okay, they were all great riders. Okay? Anybody ever seen Gable wrestle? Wasn't very good on his feet, was he? But he was really good where? On top. If he got on top of you, it was a nightmare. Okay? He wasn't going to let you go. And what it does is it drains you and breaks you mentally. Okay? Trying to get off the bottom, but not only get off the bottom, but to think ahead into a match is, if I go down, what's going to happen? The guy's going to what? Ride me. And if he rides me, I'm going to get tired. See? So you can take a lot out of it. All right. So that's a lot about it, but it's the idea that you have to understand that. Because people come in and then you start teaching all kinds of different rides and stuff. And I think that you got to pick one that fits in your philosophy. So as we start here, just go right on down here. All right? As I'm going to ride this guy, now think about this. The average coach tells the guy where to ride. Stay behind his what? Stay behind his hips. Okay? Now, what are your biggest muscles in your body? Your legs. What are the smallest? Your arms. Okay? Now let's look at it logically. Most of us have people riding like this. Okay? We're sideways right here. Just turn this way. So all I'm going to do my entire time is pull his arm and pull his waist and do this. Okay? What are the smallest muscles? My what? Arms. So they're going to get what? They're going to get tired. See? So there's a better way to do it. The other thing is, if you're thinking ahead, all right, I'm not a very smart guy, so I can't handle everything at once. What I want to do is break things down, eliminate his opportunities. You understand what I'm trying to say? Okay? There's 4 basic things that this guy can do underneath. 4. Only 4. All right? He can stand up. He can switch. He can roll. Right? What's the last one? Sit out. Okay? 4 things that he can do. Right? So if I'm riding back here, he can switch me, he can roll me, right? He can switch me, he can roll me, he can stand up, all right? He can sit out. He can do all 4 of those. So as I'm riding him, I have to kind of watch out for those. I don't want to do that. Me personally, I don't want to look and have to worry about 4 things. I want to eliminate his opportunities as much as possible. So the way I line up and the things that I do become very important. Now, as you get in wrestling, and most of you have been to clinics and clinics and clinics, okay, beyond and beyond and beyond, and there's always something to see. But as you go into these clinics, it's the little things that make the difference, right? And what I mean is, and a double leg, or as a little kid, you teach kids what? A double leg, okay? You go to the Olympic Games and you see the same thing, right? But the difference is, a little kid where he drives both arms up, at the Olympic Games, you have to be able to move a guy, turn your thumb, and drive it up like that. Small skill, boom, to clear that arm, very hard to do at that level. So it's the little things that you got to look to as you start riding. Now, most of you guys get down here in referee's position, right? Most of your kids will take their arm and they'll put it here, and they're out like this because they're going to try and jam him or tuck him. All right? I don't want to look out for 4 things. So let's move this right here. All right? So as I start here and get on this guy, I'm going to be thinking exactly what I want to do. I take my thumb and my index finger and I put it behind his elbow right here. My elbow isn't out because all I want to do, if my elbow's out here, in order to clear my hand, I got to move my whole hand back. I turn my hand and my elbow in right here. Now, the only thing I have to do to clear this hand is just move these fingers right here, and my hand's inside. This don't seem like a big deal, like most people don't think it is. Okay? And I'll show you a lot of little things that I think are important. Okay? Is my hand's here. It drops right here. And now my hand's inside. And where I'm going to end up, I'm not going to ride behind his waist. Because if I ride behind his waist, he can switch me, roll me, sit out, or stand up. I don't want to do that. All right? I'm going to ride him up high on his shoulders. and I'm going to use my body weight. He's trying to come up, and I'm trying to hold him down with what? My arms? He's trying to use these big legs to come up. Doesn't make sense to me. It's not logical. It's not a good use of energy. So if he's going to stand up, all right, in order for him to stand up, what has to come up first? Huh? Head and shoulders. If his head and shoulders don't come up, keep your head and shoulder right here and bring your leg up. Okay? Pretty hard to do, isn't it? Huh? See? He can't get it up. If he can't get this up, he can't get this up. Now, it's interesting as you see some fundamentals, right? When you get old, it's good because you can look back and you can see the difference. But when Pat Smith was here last night, okay, and he's talking about stand-ups, about getting this leg out all the time, right? Okay, he's going to get this leg out. That's not necessarily true. And I'm from Oklahoma State, so I understand it. But the stand-up he showed, getting down, arching your back, putting your hands, all that stuff we did 40 years ago at Oklahoma State. 40 years ago, it's the same thing. There's a reason why you do it. But what you do is, you want this hand here, because if he can't get this leg up, he can't get up. No matter how big, how strong, how quick he is. If this leg don't come up, he can't get up. So all of you are trying to tuck this guy, right? And he's getting this leg up. All I have to do to stop him from getting a stand-up, if a guy's got a pretty good stand-up, right? Now, if you get a Nate Carr or Kenny Mundy that's so unbelievably explosive, okay, this is harder to do, and I'll show you a different way to do it to beat those guys, all right? But the average guy, he'll never get his leg up, and this is all you got to do. Right off the whistle, my hands go this way, okay? As he starts to come up, all I do is place my hand right here on his thigh. Just block his thigh, right? He can't get up. I don't care how good he is. You just bump him a little bit forward, come on up. Go ahead. Yeah? He can't get up if he can't get this thigh up. It's impossible. See? So right off the whistle, I'm going to block this thigh. I don't want him to come to his feet. See? Now, later on, if a guy's really explosive, really quick, super explosive up, you'll let him come to his feet because you can't beat him. If you get a guy that's just genetically unbelievably great, you have to wrestle him different than the average guy. But the average guy, right off the whistle, he starts to come up, boom, I block this thigh. Now he can't. Now I've eliminated his stand-up, right? Now the other thing that I do, besides block this thigh, is I move my body from here up to here. See? Right off the whistle, I'm here, my hands are back, I come up, and I actually take, just come on up this way. See right there. I take both my hands and I come like this. I block both of his thighs. So he can't get either one up, inside leg or outside leg. And I move my body at the same time. I'm going to go like this. My toe is curled. See this? All right? It's not flat. And the reason it's curled, and I don't know if Pat said this last night, but the reason you curl your toes on a stand-up is so you can push off of them. You can't push off of a foot that's flat. You got no drive this way. If you don't think that's true, go to a track meet. You ever seen a track runner run like this? Huh? No. And if you look to other sports, you can learn from other sports because some places are universal. See? Even if you go to a stance, a lot of people have a one leg, right? And they lead one leg, and then here again, going back to your philosophy, and I'm getting a little bit off here, but your philosophy, they stand like this. Okay? If they stand like this, which way can they go? They can only go two ways, forward or backwards. Okay? If you don't think so, you go watch a linebacker or a shortstop and see if anyone ever stands like this. They don't. They stand like this so they can move laterally and back and forth. Okay? So there's reasons why you do certain things. How your feet are determine a lot of things that you do. Where your hands are, it's the same thing. So as I'm riding here, I'm going to block these, and my first move is this. This arm is going to come deep here. I'm not going to reach here. It's just going to come here, and it's going to go elbow deep. I want it elbow deep so he can't turn back into me, because he'll try and turn under me. If it's on my forearm right here, and he turns into me, he'll pop my arm out, and I'll lose it. See? So as soon as the whistle blows, I do two things. I come from here, and I come high right here, right? My weight's right here. My arms don't even have a hold of anything. I don't need to hold anything. Because he's going to do what? Try and what? He's going to try and come up, and what's going to stop him? My arms or my what? My weight. See this? I just cover him. My arms down, all right? Now, by doing just that, blocking his legs, I've eliminated his what? So now he can't stand up, all right? So, the other thing that we do here, what are the other three things he can do? Roll, right, and switch. In order for him to roll and switch, I have to have a what? I have to have a deep arm, okay? If I don't have a deep arm, he can't roll or switch me. You guys ever see the defense to a switch? Huh? Here's the defense. Go ahead and switch me. Come on. Switch me hard. Go ahead. Switch. Come back again. Switch me. Go ahead. See? The reason the switch works is why? As he switches, you're trying to what? Hold on. See? If you don't hold on, he's got nothing to switch. See? So you got to know when to let go. You got to know when to pull your arm out. See? You know how they catch monkeys? They take a jar, put some cookies in it, go out and set it down. The monkey reaches in, grabs the cookie, sees the hunter coming. You know what that monkey won't do? He won't let go of that cookie. And with his hand in the fist, he can't pull his hand out of the jar. It's the same thing here. Guy starts to switch us. I'm going to do what? I'm hanging on to the cookie. I won't let go. Now the guy can switch me. If I pull it out, he can't switch me. Or if I don't even give it to him. So off the whistle here, my hand, this hand moves from here to his hip, right here. Now, there's no switch and there's no roll. Okay? I can control his hips. I can pull him, I can push him, I can do everything, but I've eliminated switches and rolls. Okay? He reaches back to grab my wrist, I know what's coming now. Okay? He can't switch me because there's no arms. So by moving high, I've eliminated his double leg. His double leg. I've moved his stand-up. Here I've made his switches and rolls. So here's where I am right now. My weight's on him. All right? Now, within my philosophy is to get him what? What? Get him what? Tired. Okay? Now, if I'm riding back here like most people, any weight on your arms? No. But I'll tell you what, do this. I'm going to do nothing else. I'm not going to really bear down with my arms or anything. I'm just going to do this. See? See where I am? Arms getting tired? See this? That's all I'm doing. I'm using my weight to my advantage. I'm taking this hand, coming here, and I put all my weight. Now, people do this. They get here and they get a quarter of a turn out, 45%, and they're afraid to get the rest of the way. You have to be able to rotate this hip down, right, and come right here. There's nothing you can do. Can you stand up? Can't stand up, can't switch, can't roll. Can't do anything. See? So this is where I want to ride him. Referee says I have to be where? Out to the what? Out to the side. So now I'm out to the side. See? And I just roll and put all my weight right here. So from here, now there's only one thing he can do. What is it? What's left? He can sit out. It's the only way, and he'll figure it out after a while. Go ahead and sit out. Boom. He sits out. Okay? Now, same thing. He sits out. If I stay behind him like most of your kids do, they stay back here, this guy can go right or he can go left. Or he can stand up. Okay? I don't want to worry about three things. So as soon as he sits out, what I do is take and jump to the one side. And I take my chest and put it right at the top of his shoulder, put all the weight on this side. Okay? As soon as he sits out, okay, I'm going to do this right here. Now, can he turn back into me? No. He can't turn back into me. Now, there's only one thing that he can do. Only one. He can only turn that direction. Okay? I've eliminated all of his opportunities. He can only turn that way. And when he does, I'm going to have his wrist. All right? Because as I come here and I jump to this side and I crunch him down, all my weight's here, I take this hand. Okay? Watch this hand right here. Most of your kids will want to do this. Reach and grab. You don't reach and grab. All you do is take your wrist like this right now, everybody, and just cock it up. That's all you got to do. As I get here, all I do is this. I don't do anything else. I don't grab anything. Because what's going to happen is I put pressure on this side here, he will turn that way. Go ahead, turn slowly. Let's go this way so everybody can see. When he turns, okay, my hand is, see where my hand is now? See how high it is? As he turns, my hand is going to go right down here and grab him at the elbow. Okay, on his forearm. Okay, now, at the same time, look at my hand. Watch my hand. I'm not doing this, because this is what you'll assume I'm doing. I'm grabbing his hand. I am not doing this. My hand is cocked up, and my thumb and fingers are together. All right? I want right here. I want this part of his arm right here. I don't want this. Most of your kids will do this. I don't want this. Let your body do all the work. It's cocked up. As he turns, this hand will go here, it'll go down, and you'll land right here. This is where you'll land. See how deep this is right now? All right? This is what you want. All right? Because as we come around now, just bring your legs this way. Okay? And he goes down. Go ahead, go down. All right? Now I've got all the weight on his elbow. He can't pull his arm out. He can't get it out. And now I'm going to just change my hips again and put the pressure back on his shoulder. So I'm going to do this. As soon as he gets to there, I'm going to turn down, and my hand goes right here. See? Now, bring your arm out. Yes. On top of your back. Here's what most of your kids are going to do. They're going to grab this. I don't want this. I want this right here. This is the difference. And I'll show you why. All right? And this is what I'm talking about, the little things. Most people will say the guy sits out. When he sits, come back out. Sit out. When he sits out, you grab his wrist and then you take him down. That's not it. You let him do all the work. You crock it up in his armpit, he turns, and you turn your hand out. You see where it is? Now I got his forearm. Now once I get his forearm and he turns right here, now I turn all my weight down on his shoulder right here, like this. Now, what happens is I'm going to pry his arm out. Okay? I'm going to pry this arm out. How many people have a hard time getting this arm out of here? Anybody? Okay? People have a problem because you grab it like this. You grab it like this. If you grab it like this, okay, you don't pull it out. It's like having a huge lever. What I'm going to do is put all the weight right here, and it's going to just pop it out. Okay? Turn this way. Give me your arm. Okay, I'm going to keep my butt up so you can see. You see where my hand is? Right here, you pull it out. The minute I do this, I'm going to exaggerate this right here. As I come here, like this, see this? It comes out on its own. Now I grab the wrist, bring it up, okay, and keep it straight. And then transfer my hand to his far shoulder right here. Okay? What most of your guys will do is that when they pull it out, bury your arm. They'll pull it out and they'll leave it bent. And as soon as it's bent, he'll throw his hips into you, throw your defense right there. That's what you get, and you can't turn him. Okay? It's all mechanics from here. Go back down. Now watch. When you pull it out all at once, and you keep it straight. All my weight's right on the top of his shoulder blade, or top of his armpit where his tricep is, as high as you can get it. So when I pull this out, I'm going to pull it out straight. My hips here, I pull it out straight and up all at once. Right here. And I got it. Before the referee can stop it. Okay? Okay? Now, if you take this arm and take it towards his butt, he'll turn his shoulder down on you every time. You see that? Now watch. I'm going to show you how mechanics work. Give me your arm. All right? Okay, bring your hip down. Turn your hip into me. Turn it into me.
It's not working.
Huh?
It's not working.
Hey, It won't work. Now watch. I'm going this way. If I go this way, see what happens? So when I pull it out and up, see, right here, he can't drop his shoulder now. He can't turn this shoulder down. If he can't get this shoulder down, he can't defense me. So as I come underneath here now, as I pull this out, all right, I pull it all out at once. Now if he's really burying himself on it, he's burying himself way underneath, and I can't get it, then what I'm going to do is use my body to get him off of it. And I'm going to put my chest on the back of him, and I'm actually going to bridge up and drive him over the top. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my hand in here. Let me have my hand in there. I'm right here. And when I get his hand, I do this. This doesn't look like a big deal, but it's amazing the difference it works. Guys will get in here and they'll grab the hand to pull it out. Don't grab the hand. Take his hand. If you don't think it works, take your hand and put it over his knuckles and squeeze his knuckles together. And I don't know what it is, but this takes a lot of power out of his arm, right? It's different than this, okay? You squeeze his knuckles together. So when you pull it all at once and it comes out. Now in order to get it, as he's burying himself, bury yourself. Let me have it with his hand. What I'm going to do is this. Scoot around this way again. No. I'm going to do this. I'm going to push and be so far over. I'm going to do this. I'm going to drive way up here. Once I get up, I'm going to come back real quick, straighten out this leg, and pull it all out and up at once. All at once. And then take his far shoulder. Right? I got to get that far shoulder. So as he comes up, now I have him flat, he can't get up. So as I get here, right, I'm not going to let him get up. Right? Now it's getting up to your base. The other thing is I can ride him here if I want to, if I can't turn him, but I don't want to let him get up. See? It always fascinates me to watch guys break a guy down and then they do what? Let him what? Let him come back up. See? In order for him to get up, he's got to get his what? Okay, here's your philosophy. In order for him to get up, he's got to get what underneath him first? His knees. So all I got to do to stop him from coming up here, all right? He's under here on this arm. Go over arm. Come on over the arm. Just bring your whole body over it. Right here. All I got to do is this. See? All I got to do is take this hand and turn it down and take his thigh. Come on up. Come up. Come up. Without getting his leg up, he can't get up. And why would I want to let him get back up? So I'd have to do what? Break him down again? Once I get a guy down flat, I ain't letting him get back up. And if I do, what's the overall philosophy? To take what? Take energy out of it. Okay? If you don't think this is hard to do, you come out here afterwards and I'll show you just the difference of where your position is. Okay? And here again, it's a little thing. This may not look like a lot. Turn it back around this way. This is what most of your kids will do. They'll get this, get it under here. They're riding here like this, and they'll have me on their knees like this. There's no weight on him at all. Okay? What you do, in order to make this work, as soon as you break him down, you take what I call a little bite. You move your chest from here. All right, come on up if you want. All right there to here. Okay, go back down. All you do is this. You take a little bite. You move from here with your chest to here. Doesn't seem like much. Doesn't seem like much. And then go up on your toes. Now come up. Any harder?
Yeah.
Huh? This? Now all the weight's on him. I want him to carry all my weight. I don't want to have any weight. So as we come up, all right, now come on up. As I'm riding here, he sits out. And I cock my wrist. He turns. I got that wrist. Right here is where I am. My hand goes in his crotch. I have his crotch. I have his hand. He can't get up, and I'm not going to let him get up. Okay? I'm not going to let him come up. So I'm going to hold that crotch. I'm going to hold this crotch. I'm going to hold this arm, all right, and keep him down. All right, go flat. So if I break him down, how many times you see your guys come back up? Anybody have a question on that? on riding that is that you ride behind the shoulders. Okay? You put all your weight on it. And you know what? It takes some time for your guys to learn, right? But I would say the number one, or probably the number two, and actually Ben Morris and I were talking about it last night, how many guys have a hard time with your kids, teaching your kids to stand up in high school? It's hard to do because it requires coordination. It requires body movement and skill. They don't have it. Most high school wrestling, and I don't mean it bad, is they're kind of flopping around, aren't they? Huh? And so if you have a guy riding with a deep arm, most of them are going to hit what? Switched or rolls. Take this away from them, you've eliminated half the mistakes that they can make. See? At the worst here, if a guy goes to switch me, and my hand's here, and he don't get it, he gets what? 1 point. See? Here again, philosophy from Oklahoma State when I was there 40 years ago. Give them 1, never 2. Okay? Never give a guy 2 points. All right? So you develop your ride to go along that. So as I'm coming here, I come high, I lock right here, and all my weight is heavy on here. I'm going to ride him heavy right here. And I'm going to push with my legs. Okay? Remember, the biggest part of my body are my what? My legs. I'm sitting here, as most guys do it, I'm doing everything with my what? Arms. See? I'm going to come here and use my legs. See this? Right here. I want to push with my legs. This is hard. If he doesn't push back against me hard to stay up, he's going down. This requires no effort on his part. This requires a lot of effort not to be broken down. See this? This is hard. This is a hard way to ride. The other thing it does for you guys as you're trying to get your team in shape, okay? A lot of people don't know this. The best place to get your people in shape is not wrestling on your feet. It's down on the mat. Okay? Why? Right? What's the hardest place and why don't kids wrestle on top and bottom? Because it's too what? It's too hard, it's too tiring. So if it's too hard and too tiring, it should tell you the best place for them to be to get conditioning. Okay? Make them wrestle down. Okay? The better they get, the better off they are. Now, if this guy, as I'm coming here, here's where my right is, here's where my legs are, I'm pushing him the whole time. He sits out right here. I'm heavy. He turns. I catch his wrist. As soon as I catch his wrist, cock my wrist, then all I do is as he starts to turn, my hand comes behind, and now I'm out and take a little bigger bite so that he can't get up. There'll be times when this guy starts to come off the bottom, all right, that I want to block him. How do I keep him down? See? As he starts to come up, I'm going to block his legs. But this won't work for every kid. You'll get some kid that just can fire up so hard and so fast you can't keep him down. So what you do is you do this, all right? As he's going to come up, just come up. All right, he's going to come up as fast as he can. I'm not going to even try and keep him down. All I'm going to do is ride him up, okay? All right? Jimmy Zaleski, we had Jimmy Zaleski do this when he wrestled Nate Carr. Nate would blast out. What we would do is have Jimmy just ride him up. As he comes up, his momentum's coming up, and as it comes up, I step, okay? As he's coming up, he comes up, his momentum is up. Bring him back down, okay? High school kids have a hard time lifting because it's hard, okay? But if you have all this inertia, all this force coming forward, why do you want to hold it down? It's easier to just ride it up, control it, and bring him right back down. See? It's easier instead of trying to hold him down if he's going to blow off the whistle. So all you do is put your thumb under here, your hand here, before he'll ever get to his feet. Go ahead. My hands are locked, okay? Now, as my hands are locked, now I just step, pick, lift, and when I put him down, right, when I put him down here, I'm going to step. Most of your kids don't lift right. See? They don't know how to lift because you haven't taught them how to lift. See? And there's different ways to lift. Most kids will do it, and they try to do it with their arms. If they do it the right way, it's all with their hips and their legs.
But wrestling, guys, is like life, okay? Everything is a skill. Everything is a skill. If you want them to lift, you got to teach them the skill of lifting, okay? Most kids will get here, right, keeping them to the mat, as they get here, and they'll do this. Their legs are already straight, so they try to pick them up. They can't pick them up. They'll never pick them up, okay? All your arms are things to hold him tight to you. Your hips do all the work. And you don't ever lift the guy from the back. Okay? You lift him from the front. Now, as he's standing up and you want to keep him down, here's again is a philosophical deal. How to keep a guy to the mat. We're working on when he's coming up now. How do you lock your hands in wrestling? You ever thought about that? How do you lock your hands in wrestling? What do you tell your kids? See? The object here is to make you think. I lock my hands the same way every time. Whether it's a cradle, right here. Cradle, I lock them the same way. Take my thumb and forefinger, you tell a kid you're going to lock your hands, lock them like this every time. I cradle him, right here, right? I throw him, okay, right there. I double leg him, right there. I single leg him, right there. I lock my hands the exact same way every time. So you simplify things for kids. It's a fundamental, okay? You lock your hands, it's easy. The other thing you do, now when this guy stands up, this is the only time I lock my hands different, right? Most guys will lock their hands this when a guy stands up, right? Everybody lock your hands this way. Lock them this way and put them out, okay? Now I want you to try and roll your hands down, down. Is it hard to do? Does it feel awkward? Huh? Yes or no? Okay, now I want you to pull. Is it easy to pull? It's easy to pull, okay? Now, okay, if you listen to Pat Smith last night, okay, what did he say the objects of this guy's hips are? To get him where? To get him away. He wants him away. That means if he wants him away, I want him close. See? If he wants him away, I want him close. Most kids lock, and they lock high, and they can only pull this way. But this isn't his hip, this is his belly. See? This is his hip. I lock this way. And I lock this way for a certain way. Is that this hand now can pull his hip in. See? As I'm up here, I can pull this hip in. See this? Get your hip away from me. See this? I get here, I can pull. Here, get your hip away from me. See that? Can't pull it in. Here, get your hip away. See this? It's harder to get your hip away. I don't want him to get his hip away from me. So I'm not going to let go of him. I'm not going to lock here. As soon as he comes up, I'm going to come right around his belt line, finger to finger. In the olden days at Oklahoma State, when there wasn't stalling, this guy would come up. If there was 10 or 15 seconds to go, the way you stop a guy from getting away, you take your legs, put them right behind his, and you do this. Go ahead, get away from me if you want. Go ahead. See this? Go ahead. Do whatever you want. I'll just hold him right here in my lap. See? By locking my hands, keeping his hips in. As soon as I do this, look how big the targets are, my hands are. Are they bigger to get a hold of than this? Which is the hardest to get a hold of? See? Because if he's trying to get my arms extended, I don't want them extended. See? His deal is to get my arms extended and get his hips out. My deal is to keep my hands in, all right, and keep his hips in. If I keep his hips in, he can't get away from me. So as I'm here, I lock right to his hips. Now look where I am. It's different. Tom said last night, what? He talked about bending your what? Bending your knees. Your kids are like this. See? Now watch. There's a difference of here. I don't feel comfortable here. I can tell you right now, my hands are about 2 inches too high. His hips will go away from me. Just real slowly take your hips out. See that? Now my arms are extension. Coach Schwab says extension is a loss of power. He extends my arms, I lose my power. Now, if I feel him going away from me, okay, this is all about keeping the guy on the mat. As I feel him going away from me, I do this. Just go slow. You see that? My arms are getting out. I do this. I drive my arms forward, right here, take a bite, and drive his shoulders over him. Now I'm right back where I want to be. I got his hips. Okay? And you teach your kids, as they come up here, see, I can tell you right now, right here, there's a difference. You teach them to re-grab right here. Now I've got him and I can bring him down. Okay? If I want to lift him, I just slide my hands and I step to the side, right here. And I actually cross step. Watch my feet. You have a hard time lifting because your feet aren't in the right place. It's like dancing. Wrestling's like dancing. Most of you are limited because of where your feet are, and you don't even realize it. If I want to get in front of him, I can't get in front of him, but I can if I do this. Cross step. Now I step way in front of him. Now I'm going to lift him with my hips instead of my arms. If I don't cross step, I can only do this. If I do this, I'm right where I want to be. Now I just load him on me. Okay, if you ever move furniture and you get a dolly, what do? You strap the dolly to the ice box, and then you go where? Underneath it. The dolly goes under to lift it up. So as I'm here, I come here, I lock to it, then my hips go down. Okay? My hips go down, and I snap my hips up. And everything's done with my hips. I don't use my arms at all. Okay? I'm here, step, snap my hips, and as my hips snap, boom, up, down he goes. Now it's the same thing for a lift if I'm here. Okay? I'm here, and I want to lift. I step, squat, and what do I lift him with? My hips. Most of your kids do this. Like this. See, this is hard, using your arms. This, boom, is easy. See? Here, you can get a lot of height. But you got to make them do it that slow until you get it right. Now that's a different lift, all right? It's what I call lift. There's two lifts, and they're both different because wrestling is what I call situation. And what I mean situation is the situation dictates what you do. As I'm here to bring him back, I squat. He's pushing into me. Here, I step, and lift. Okay? All right? Because he's doing what? He's coming where? He's coming into me. He's pushing into me. I'm here. I step, squat, and lift. All right? But what happens with your lift is a lot of times this guy is not going to push into me. He's going to go where? He's going to go away from me. Now look at it logically. All his force is going which way? That way. And most of you having these kids trying to lift a force that's going that way back this way. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. So it's the same thing when the guy was coming up. Take the force and use the force and go with the force. So as he's going away from me, as I'm here, and he's going away from me, instead of trying to pull him back and lift, as he goes this way, I cross step right here. And then all I do is I lift, and this is called a lift drive. All I got to do is get his feet that far off the ground. As I'm here, he's going that way. As I drive in, right here. Hey, go ahead. Boom. Take him right to his back. It's completely different. As soon as I feel this guy going away from me, cross step, lift, drive. As opposed to this is what I see so many kids do. Trying to bring a guy back here, he's going that way, I'm trying to lift him. Okay? His force is going this way, I'm pulling it back this way. It doesn't make sense. Okay? Take the force and channel it. Okay? So I'm here, he's going away from me, cross step, turn, hips, turn him right down. Okay? So you bring him right down. So you always bring him back. Right? Even when you're here and you got up here, right? High school kids, it's hard to lift, let's be honest. They don't have the skill and they don't have the power, really. So what can they do from here? They can 2-on-1, they can trip him, but here again, your philosophy is what? My philosophy, never pull a guy where? On top of you. So I'm never, even though this is pretty good when you got a 2-on-1, you block this, it's pretty good. I do everything, my philosophy is always to go forward. So as I'm here, all I do is get to the side, and then it's an easy trip from here, bringing him straight forward. Okay? I bring him forward all the time. All right? He comes up, and I'm hanging on him right here. Yes? I'm hanging on him right here to bring him back down. I'm not going to let him go. I'm not going to let him get up. I got to keep his hips into me. When he comes up here, I got to keep his hips into me the entire time. All right? But I'm going to sag and put the weight on it. What did Pat say he wanted to do with these legs? He wanted to get where? He wanted to get them out. So I want to keep them where? In. Yes? Right here. Okay? Sag and trip. Or you can trip forward. I wouldn't suggest this way because you don't have a post. Some guys can do it. I don't like to do it. But sag and trip. Right? Sag and trip to bring him back. It's a lot easier than you think. Go flat. Another thing, when you're here, face that way. I'll double leg a guy, and as I double leg him and hit him, he goes flat down on the mat. Now he's flat. Now why would I ever let this guy get back up? I land on him. Most of your guys then do what? They jump where? You have told them where. Get behind his what? So I stay behind his hips. Any weight on you? Hands come up, come up. Up he comes. Now he's got to do what? You're yelling at him to what? Break him down. Well, he was just down, you dummies. Eh? So when he lands, in order to keep him down, where does he got to come up with? As old Coach Kurtelmeyer said, he's like a table. He's got 4 legs. I can't stop him from coming up if I stay behind his hips. So as soon as I land on him, I'm going to come high right here. Boom, I'm going to land on him right here. Okay? Now he's only got 2 ways he can get up, either his legs or his arms. Okay? Start to come up slow, wherever you want. I'll take his legs and pull his knees together like this. Come on up. See this? Can't get up. Can't get his knees underneath him. He can't get up. I ain't going to let him come up. I don't want him to come up. I don't want to waste any more energy. The other thing is, I want him to burn energy like hell to try and get up to base, because the referee's going to be going, what? Warning, bottom man. All right, now, once I got his legs, all right, now it's easy to concentrate on his what? Come on up. Hey, all you got to do is grab his arms and pull him to the outside. Hey, come on up. Now I got a wrist. Hey, I don't have to worry about his legs and everything else. I take it one step at a time. So as soon as he lands, okay, double leg lands, boom, I'm right here with my knees. And my arms are going like this. See where my arm went? I didn't even notice it. Okay, why did it go like this? Why did, when we land, my hand automatically went like this? Why? Take away his power. Come up with this arm. You see that? If he can't get it close to his body, he can't come up. I just did it automatically. I didn't even realize I did it until I just did it right there. See? But if he can't get this arm, now if he gets his arm here, come on up now. Now he can come up. See? So as soon as I land, boom, my hands right here come up. See? And it gives me all kind of space when we get into, start to pin to get his wrists and stuff. But I don't want to let him up. But I can't keep him down by staying back. Stay back here, he'll come up right away. And now you're going to spend all your time doing what again? Breaking him down. Why do you want to spend that? Once you get him down, keep him down. And you got to teach him, it's a lot easier to keep him down than it is to break him down. Now we're back up here. I got to break his arm down. I got to catch him down. I got to do all that other stuff. All right? So it's a lot harder to do. Anybody got any questions about any of that? Yeah. Yeah, they do get too high, but here's the thing that you got to remember, guys. Okay? Life is a series that they're going to make some mistakes. Okay? You got to keep encouraging them. It's kind of like a teeter-totter. All right? There's a fine line of where you need to be. They just need to find it and learn to believe in it. Once they find that place, then they can stay there. But the biggest one is this arm, is that what they're really doing is they're not committing themselves. It's kind of like a lot of things in life. You don't really do exactly where you need to be. You only do it halfway. So the halfway is the thing that hurts you. Because this is what they do, the majority of them. They're so afraid of getting up here, they don't really get up here. They only get halfway up here. And then it opens it up to where they get in trouble. As an example, as I'm here, see, most of them will do this. See? They'll do this. Now, this guy can, from here, I can feel he can still do a lot of stuff here. But that's completely different than this, isn't it? Huh? See? And you gotta work with them on it. See? You got to make them believe that it's a different way to ride, and it's an easier way to ride. Instead of doing this, all the time, it's like use your weight. Teach them how to use their weight and stuff. Because once we get into pinning here, I'll show you real quick. Or once we get into pinning, as I'm up here, then people will do, and I'll show you why you coaches are my best ally in pinning, is because these kids will come back and reach and grab my wrist every time. See? But I just want to be up here, and I want to be pushing with my legs. See? Right here, he can move and use his hands. But as soon as I do this, watch this. See? He's spending so much energy just what? Staying up. He can't do nothing. See? But the minute I let up on him, right here, now he can do something. See? So this and push is really important. See? That's a good question. Anybody else? Tripod? Okay, if I'm here in a tripod, all right, then I go behind him, right here, and when I go behind him, take my knee, and I put it right in there, here. I'm here, he tripods, I come back, put my leg. See where my leg went? My leg wasn't here to pull him with my arms. I come here, he tripods, my hand goes on my thigh, I come up, okay, I bend my knee and I put it way under his butt. Now, I drive him back down to the mat. And I got his arms again. Okay? Now I'm right on top of him. Okay? And so what you do a lot of times, I'm riding here, he tripods, I come here, break him down. Okay? It's a continuation of the two. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, we've got a kid that rides like that, and postseason, especially a kid like that, and the kid just brought this arm across, the one that you're under, dialed right down, and slid right off of it. Give up the reversal in the match, and lost the match.
And it's my fault. The reason he slid off is because his arm wasn't deep enough. You see this? See here, if he turns back into me, my arm's a pivot, and it'll pivot right there, okay? What you got to get it is that it's got to be his tricep has got to be above here. It's like a brick of wood. You see this? Here, go ahead and turn into me. See that? Can't slide off. Here, slides right out. This has got to be deep. That's why I put my hand this way instead of this way. You see this? Some guys do this. When they do this, their arms already, okay, this is a small thing, but their arms already halfway this way. You see what I mean? This is the way he wants to bring it. So I want to do just the opposite. By turning my thumb down this way, now my arm won't turn this way. Here, it'll turn all the way here. Here, it won't, it can't. Mechanically, it won't work. So I ride it here. See? Right here. See? This is where I want my hand.